Well, I think for a couple of reasons. We wanted to, go to a whole range of different places, so we tried to get all the continents, except we didn't get to Australia, but we tried to hit most of the continents. We also wanted to think about where kids here might have connections. So we were looking at, obviously India is a place, China is a place, Latin America is a place. We have previously done shows about Mexico and Puerto Rico. We wanted to go to Africa, so we thought Egypt was a great place to go, also because kids love Egypt. It's they study it, it's a place that's really exciting to them. And of course, we wanted to hit Europe, and Italy seemed like another place where a lot of kids have connections.
In the episode, we met kids who were really avid bird watchers, and I didn't realize that in Chennai there's a really strong bird watching community and just beautiful bird watching parks. So that was really exciting, and to see it through the eyes of the kids who also were really expert bird call mimickers.
That's a really fun part of the show.
There was one kid who could do, I think he could do over 50 bird calls, and that was part of what was so impressive during the scouting process. So things like that, surprises that are always really delightful.
And I think, when Anne and Priya present all of these kids to us, what we look for is, okay, we want to see a range of kids. These two guys are so cool. They're so interesting, and they have their bird watching thing, which is something that is just probably not something you might expect. But then let's also look around and see, okay, here's this great girl who does the dancing. Yeah. And that is kind of more connected culturally to what you might think. But at the same time, she's also a pretty good soccer player. So how can we kind of show the range of these kids that are just like, the kids that you know every day? They all have a range of talents. They're not kind of a stereotype. They're a well-rounded person.
I think my favorite was actually when, there are two scenes back to back. One is when Buster goes over to this little boy Nandan's house, because Buster's been given an assignment by his teacher, Mr. Ratburn, to do his family tree. And so Buster thinks that he's going to get to India, he's going to have a vacation, but then he's bummed out that he has this homework. So he says, Nandan, you think you can help me out? So he goes over to Nandan's house, and Nandan gives him a tour of his house, and we get to see their family garden with a mango sapling and this gooseberry tree, and his mom climbs the tree.
It's my favorite scene.
And shakes the tree, yeah.
and gooseberries come down and they catch them.
And she talks about making pickles out of gooseberries, and then they go upstairs and they start to work on their homework, and Nandan starts helping, shows Buster his family tree, which is just, it's complicated. It looks like math. He had this paper that was just full of his family going 6 generations back. And so he sits down to work with Buster on his family tree, and Buster basically has his dad, his mom, and no siblings, and an uncle, right? And so there's this really emotional moment where Buster's upset, and he feels like his family tree doesn't look like a tree, it actually looks like a shrub. And so Nandan then sort of comes through to comfort him and says, well, sort of gives him an idea of like what family can be, and that it's not necessarily just who you're related to.
The connection to Buster, even with these kids, becomes so strong that they actually really buy into Buster's dilemma. He really was sincerely wanted to comfort Buster about his tiny little family and say it's okay, and it's actually it's kind of a wonderful tribute to all of these kids who are so real and so connected, and I just love that.
Yeah, I would say the moment in the scout where we knew that Nandan had to be in the show. So we went to the rooftop of his family's house, and we went bird watching, and they had all these amazing birds in their backyard, and he had a pair of binoculars, and he turns to me and he says, "Hey Buster, do you want to look through the binoculars?" I said, "Sure," and he, rather than handing them to me, he sticks them into the lens so that Buster can see through the camera, and I just thought, okay, this kid, this is probably one of the best moments in any scout. It was just he was so. He could just play along so well, and it wasn't it was like a reality
it was sincere.
Yeah, it was very sincere.
Yeah. Now, if you go to the PBS Kids Go broadband player and search for India or Finding Family in Chennai, you can watch it right now. Thank you.